What the hell?
If you're lagging and your network isn't working that well, that's what I call debatable.
True, true.
So well, we'll know when we're live because we'll actually appear on the screen.
Yeah, I'll also let you know because the music doesn't end once I flip it. But it's one way.
Oh, are we live? I can see us. Does that mean we're live?
I can see clearly now the show is on.
Actually, he timed that perfectly. That was great. We're live, gentlemen.
Okay, hello. We are Pints. We are the only global podcast that talks about two things that we enjoy, which is good beer and video games. And I have an apology from last week's episode. Unfortunately, Russian Subway Dogs has been delisted on the PlayStation Store, so Evan was looking forward to playing that.
No, Evan changed his mind. Didn't you listen to the show?
No, he didn't.
He did.
He didn't really.
Yeah, he didn't actually change his mind. He said he would only play with it maybe with you. But if it was that long, he's not keen.
I was planning on gifting him the game, but I can't now because it's been delisted. Yes, we're not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly, game responsibly. In fact, do everything responsibly. Look after other people.
I live in Texas. That doesn't work.
Yeah, okay. Eat tacos responsibly, or don't buy too much Tex-Mex because either eat Mexican food or don't. I don't understand Tex-Mex.
Neither do I, and I live here, so.
Right, so quickly we'll go around the room. Dan, how's things with you?
Good. Just got back from summer school week. Catch up for COVID, so that was good. Went successfully. Brought all the kids back I took, so that's positive. And just finally got into some video games.
Not positive for COVID, right?
No. And then
catch up for COVID sounds like a government tagline.
Being like, you know, it's like when you want to give the kids the chicken pox and you throw them all in the same room. It's like, give them all COVID, throw them in the same room.
And then managed to get on some video games for the first time this summer last night. So I played some 12 minutes and some Hades, which was good. Enjoying those. Finished 12 minutes in a couple of hours. That was good.
I think that they should rename the game then. If it takes a few hours, how can it be 12 minutes? Mitch, how's things in LA?
It's good. It's morning. I'm a little tired, but, hanging in there. But, I played 12 minutes. I have a very different opinion than Dan does. But actually, I didn't think it was that bad, but I just didn't. I maybe
not for you.
I expected a little more. And I was talking to my friend my roommate who watched gameplay of it, and he was expecting more as well. So he was quite disappointed of what he saw when someone was playing it on Twitch. So, but it's a good day so far. Playing a bunch of Madden because, it's preseason time, and I want my Bears to win a Super Bowl in my brain.
Yeah, in your imaginary game. Yeah.
That's why 100%. We all play Madden. We all play Madden so our team wins a Super Bowl, but we all know it's pretty hard to win one.
And we're joined by a very special guest. 50% of a video game podcast at a starting point. We are joined by My Thick Griffin.
Wow, Keith, Mythic Griffin. You're as bad as Brian. Jeez.
Not only that. Not only that, America's Ass himself has copied the title of your podcast.
This is true. He has created a Starting Point podcast, which is a political podcast by Chris Evans. Our goal is to have him on and apologize to us profusely for trying to take our name. So,
or you can just sell out and sell him the name of your podcast.
Well, there's that. But we're getting so much traffic from his site because nobody knows what his actual @ is. So they just keep tagging us. It's great. And then everybody comes here and goes, who are these dorks talking about video games? It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Have you tried to actually reach out to him, like tweet him out?
Oh yeah, we've called him out a couple times. We're like, "Hey, bud," and then people keep tagging us, so we're like, "He's gonna catch on eventually." So we'll see what happens.
He's usually good about that, so I'm shocked he hasn't reached out at least sooner, just going like, "Hey, quit the tweets." But usually he's probably not that kind of guy. He's probably just.
We're still waiting for the cease and desist. It's fine.
Well, no, you just because I've known people buying Twitter handles off other users, so he could just buy it off you.
I would not. Both myself and my co-host would be very happy if that happened. Like we'd be happy to change the name
For a price.
for a price. Everything has a price.
Yeah, and
Even my podcast.
then you have a shelter at our place.
Yeah, exactly. Then we just come over to Pixel Pints and hang out. It's great. I like it.
Yeah, thank you for getting up at silly o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
Wow, you didn't thank me.
Well, no one asked how I was last week, so screw the lot of you.
Grouchy.
I'm sorry, I'm in a bad mood. So it's probably a good thing that we're talking about game developers who screwed themselves over. And it's not just going to be me for an hour just railing on Blizzard, which is just too easy to do. Before we get into that, has anyone got any beers or other beverages they want to talk about? Not at 7 o'clock in the morning, obviously.
No, I got nothing for you. Not today.
I haven't opened any beverages yet today.
I am powering through coffee and imagining it's beer.
Yeah, I got to get some tea in me because I slept by a fan,
Tetley's,
and so now my throat's dry.
Now my throat's dry. Tetley's is nice.
Tetley's number 4. It's their version of lager, and it's for a lager. I'm drinking Tetley's out of a Carlsberg export glass. Don't hold it against me. It's somewhat malty for a lager, which is quite nice.
Interesting.
I did have a Japanese rice lager last night, made by a Swedish brewer.
The weirdest combination. Not just it's Japanese, but it's not made by anybody in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is like the non-Japanese thing to do, because they would be like, get your stuff out of our shit, foreigners.
We did this first.
I can't say I enjoyed it. It was Mick Eller's Japanese rice lager. I'll post a review on Instagram where you can find us talking about, well, it's mainly me posting beers and tiny clips of winning Apex Legends. Yes, I have deleted Warzone off my hard drive to save myself 227 gigs.
Talk about how that's an obscene amount of storage to use for a video game. Like, obscene.
It's almost a quarter of a whole console storage unit.
Yeah.
Well, but that thing sells like hotcakes, so if you play it enough, it's worth the storage cost.
If you have Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Cold War installed, I think it's 258 gigs.
You know what, Keith? Here's an interesting thing. You know what companies should do? Instead of making you buy the game, they should just give you a storage unit and say you can only have this much gigs of storage. Please choose the games you want to accept, but you cannot delete any of the game off your storage unit.
I think I don't know, it is making poorly optimized games a strategy for Activision, so that you can only have a limited number of games, and if you want to play the latest,
don't worry, we will get to them on the topic at hand, sir.
Yeah.
Anyone else got some beers?
I deleted after you deleted.
Yeah, because it's a grindy, boring grey brown.
Well, I only played it with you, Keith. So there's no need for it to fill up my hard drive.
If you jump, I jump, Jack.
Yeah. Now we've got the bright, colourful, shiny Apex Legends to play instead.
Exactly.
Right. Who would like to start the topic with a game developer who ended up screwing themselves over, or shall I?
No.
I wasn't going to mention Blizzard, honestly. I could, because they have.
I'm going to go Activision.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no, sorry. Flip it. I'm sorry. EA. I'm going EA.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, they're kind of interchangeable, but I'm going to go EA. I go EA with thinking they can buy all these studios up. So, like, they'll buy BioWare. And then they're like, make me games of service, even though you never made one before. Basically, they buy all these studios just to say, make something you don't make, make something you're not known for, and then they do bad, of course, on their first try, because it's a risk. It's a big, big risk, especially when you're doing something completely different like you've never done before. And then they shut them down after one game.
Yep.
It's not even like, oh, it's like, Billy, you're in like first grade. It's like, you're 2 + 2, right? Oh, you're awesome at that. That's great. Here's calculus. You F it up, you don't get to go to the next grade. And then they F it up and they're like, be gone.
Be gone.
I kind of see where you're coming from, but is that's the publisher making choices on behalf of the developer rather than?
But the developer should better stand up for themselves, even though they're adhered to the publisher. They should have some kind of say in regards to when they sign that contract to be purchased. Like, they could say something in the contract to say we have a say in what we make. Like, you can't just force that upon us.
Like Vince Zampella, when they bought Respawn, I get final veto over pretty much every development decision.
And that's why they're relatively still successful.
And including, I don't want to use your goddamn Frostbite engine.
Because even Sony studio teams like have say in what they make. For the most part, they can say no to a project.
Well, that's what I was thinking when you're saying make a game they never made before. Well, obviously, when everyone heard about Guerrilla going to make Horizon, everyone was like, "What? They make first-person shooters? What the hell's going on?" And that ended up being a gem. But because obviously they were leading that.
Yeah, because they want to make it.
But that also could have it could have made a terrible game, and then they'd be in this list.
But that's true.
That's what we're looking at. Developers making mistakes upon them.
But then the thing is, on top of it, like, they ended up making what was the one they had to make when they released the PS4? What was the Killzone game they made? Shadowfall? Yeah, Shadowfall. They made Shadowfall while they were still developing Horizon because they needed to make a game. So it's not like for them they got
the need to make the game. They were testing out the system as well, because the lighting and some of the visuals in Shadowfall, whilst it's a pretty boring game overall, some of the visuals are really quite impressive.
Well, that according to the No Clip documentary I watched, they said they decided to make Shadowfall because of the development time was taking a little longer than they expected, especially the R&D because it's a whole new genre for them. That they didn't feel like they could bring out a decent product within a reasonable amount of time, so they decided, let's work on another project and then bring this out while we still work on some R&D for it. So, like, the fact that the studio gave them the publisher gives them time to do so, I would never imagine EA letting them do such a thing, except for now with, they're kind of turning it around a little bit. They did let them put out the Mass Effect kind of Legendary Edition before they release a new Mass Effect, so maybe they let them do that so that they could have some extra time, but who knows?
I think there's a bit of a test case as well.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
It was to see, will it sell? With EA, it's all about numbers.
Does it still
the
have
developer will go, I want to do this. If the developer's idea, whether it's being pronged by the publisher, if they are successful, then EA will go, oh, you've made me money, carry on. If it's not successful, in EA's mind, which is a big lot of money, they'll go, no, goodbye. You're closed. We'll move those assets there and those assets there. Thanks very much.
We're already digging the trench out the back of the office to bury the corpse.
Right.
With all the other developers who are out there. You mentioning Madden, is just from a personal note, I can't play Madden anymore. I used to play it tons until Ultimate Team came out.
Oh, I don't play Ultimate Team, so...
But the game really, really wants you to.
I know.
I've great willpower.
Infects your game, and every single menu always shouts out Ultimate Team. I don't give a toss. Turn it. I don't care about your notifications.
Yeah, and you unlock stuff by playing franchise mode for Ultimate Team. Every loading screen shows you images for Ultimate Team, and it just got too frustrating, so I just never playing.
Yeah, you know what I
ever again.
I have a TV right up here, and what I do is I look at the TV during the loading screens. So I forget Ultimate Team is on Madden. That's how much I forget. So,
but yeah,
I just get angry and rage quit my game and don't let the game count if my quarterback throws a really stupid interception, like one that's like the one's like, how did that leave your hand like that? Like it's like
I'm sure I pressed Y.
I have Justin Herbert on my team, and like I threw a wide open wide receiver, and he like way out throws him like 10 feet above, and then like there's a safety right there. Or like somehow like they make a contested catch and like the ball jumps like 20 feet in the air. So unreasonable and unrealistic in football. It's a rarity a ball jumps up in the air like and goes like 10 feet in the air and hangs forever for a safety just to go, let me coddle you. Like, it's BS. So
I've never understood. I've never understood Ultimate Team at all. Same thing with like the NBA 2K, whatever that thing is. The thing with the trading cards.
I get it. I think.
Will you please enlighten me? Because I've never understood it. Like, where's the draw? Like, what is this? Is this the, we're like, okay, well, this is top deck, basically, in your video game. This is what you want. Is that what people asked for?
No, I think it's more of, so like in Madden, and wow, I can't believe we're talking about Madden for the podcast. So if you play in franchise mode, there are two options. There's one, you can play as the franchises as they are. So like the teams with their rosters as they, well, actually, there's technically three options. So one, you can play as the teams as they are. You can play as their active current roster up to date to the very moment you load up the game, or right. There is their projected roster with a lot of extra players in between, because in preseason you can have more players and then they have to cut it down to 53. So you can do it that way for franchise. The other mode for franchise mode to start is a fantasy draft, where you can draft all the players from the NFL from all the 32 teams, so your team is nothing like the team you would have gotten. So, like, I could have Tom Brady as my quarterback if I drafted him. So
I think you'd rather cut off your own hands than have Tom Brady as your quarterback, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, he has two fingers I can cut because there's no rings on it. But
it's funny you talk about this, Mitch, because those modes have been in the game for years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then FIFA came along and they launched their Ultimate Team in 09, 08, 09. And then 2 years later, EA was like, God, we're making shed loads of money with Ultimate Team on FIFA. Let's add that into the NFL game, which I think ruined it, in my opinion.
But in a way, I think it works in aspects of, it is kind of a randomized roster. And the extra part about it is you can add people, like, obviously it's the loot crate style, so it's like randomized, so you can get like one really good player, so like you really have to grind for it. But the other element that's really nice about it too, which is you can play players of the past. So like players that are retired, which is you don't get to do in the actual game because it's a simulation. They don't offer legendary players like Randy Moss or something like that.
So what you're telling me is Madden has become the new like WWE. You're like, hey, let's play Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant because I haven't been able to play them in forever because they're legendary characters.
But I guess it's more of like, imagine putting like a dream squad together of your team of like, and it's not even the limits is not just of current rosters. It's like the options are endless. It's forever. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of the thing. I mean, I played Ultimate Team when it first came out for a little bit, but I was like, most of the time the issue was your players were so low rated that like you had crappy play constantly. That was just so boring.
So you have to spend the money to open the packs
to
get those gold characters.
Yeah.
No, the same with FIFA. Like FIFA. Originally, it was the Dream Team. That's how it sold. The Ultimate Team. You could have any player from any generation, blah, 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 Pele and Beckham playing in the same team. And now, it's just like, well, then it was then as well, but it's now just a microtransaction love fest.
It's interesting as well, because the Madden League and the FIFA League that EA run uses Ultimate Team.
Yep.
Because they want to push it as this is the mode that you should be playing. For all the online competitive stuff, it uses Ultimate Team.
Yeah,
but you have to consider it, at the end of the day, it all comes down to money for EA, and we can be very honest because when they released their fiscal year for 2021 so far with with Ultimate on including FIFA, Madden, and NHL 21, which we all haven't even talked about yet. It was like 1.62 billion.
Yeah.
No, it's 1.62 billion just from FIFA.
Just from FIFA.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, of course they're going to put it in everything. They're like, okay, let's just keep making money because people are going to still throw it at. So you're going to get it in everything that they do.
Like the obsession of turning the wheel and opening that pack.
Yeah.
And it's just
it creates a problem, particularly if you're looking. So Mitch can just ignore that because I don't think you'd ever want to play online Madden, and then we're going to stop talking about sports games because we've probably lost the 2 of the 4 listeners. But if you want to be competitive online, you can't start with a base roster. You have to be able to buy some decent players, otherwise you're just going to get owned by the people who have done that. So
it's pay to win from day one.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I hate it, and I'll never play Madden ever again.
Well, the final thing.
Sorry. I was going to say, how they keep you engaged, though, Keith, is if when you put in your disc and your FIFA account recognises you had an Ultimate Team from the previous game, they'll give you like 5 packs with like 1 or 2 gold characters. So then you feel like, I can only win off 1 or 2 games before I have to start paying again. So naughty.
I think the issue is overall, it's that people are upset. Like, it's Ultimate Team's actually a good feature. Like, it's a good feature. The issue is they when they make the game every single year, they don't focus on the other elements because they don't need to focus on Ultimate Team anymore. It's almost like Warzone. It's like if Warzone, you had to pay for Warzone every single year, and then they had a bunch of other features that you really don't use. And it's like, why are you spending all this time not working on the other features that like could make the game even better and worth paying for than to just have this Ultimate Team? Because be honest, Madden could just release a free-to-play Ultimate Team game and just update it every single year, and people would buy it.
Yeah.
Yep. Or Dan said in the past, just release it as DLC.
I don't understand.
Give me an updated roster. I don't care.
I would pay the $20.
Fair, well, I would pay that. I'd probably pay up to £20 probably for the rosters and just keep the game the way they are.
And update it every 2 to 3 years or something.
Yep. And then update every 2 years. And then let Ultimate Team be a separate beast. That'd make me happier than having to pay 70. But then people are still buying it. So why would they do that?
Yeah, true.
Right, and if you want to unlock Evan on this podcast, all you need to do is send. Do people still send checks?
Is that a thing?
Checks.
PayPal?
Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah. Send us Bitcoin.
I don't know what they use. I don't know if they use PayPal in Japan. You'd have to figure out the equivalent of what they use in Japan to pay out people.
Right, moving on. That's enough of talk about sports games.
Sports.
EA Sports. It's
in the game.
In the game.
I used to love EA Big. That used to be quite
cool.
EA
Sports.
Big.
Right, okay, stop.
So we're done now.
Wait, really, fine. Last thing about sports game. You know what I really miss? I really miss like that backyard. I forgot what it was called. That backyard NFL game.
NFL Street.
That's what it was.
That
stuff
was amazing.
That was awesome stuff. I know they tried to like put it in Madden, and it's like no, just make me my own game, or put it back Arena Football because Arena Football is just as good. So whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right. So stay on topic.
We're too close. We're too close.
A game developer who screwed themselves over, and United Front Games.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
Deep cut.
Everyone is doing research as we speak.
So I actually did some research. I went into Google and Googled Sleeping Dogs developer because I couldn't remember who it was.
Yes.
And so United Front Games made Sleeping Dogs in 2012. Surprise success. And instead of doing what most people wanted and just making a sequel, they became hugely over-ambitious and tried to create GTA Online in the Sleeping Dogs universe before GTA Online existed. And they made Triad Wars.
But the real question is, did they really want to do that, or was that Ubisoft asking them to do that?
Well, it was Square who.
I'm sorry, Square. Sorry, or was it Square asking them to do that?
Well, they would have had to have decided that we don't want to make a direct sequel. We want to make this online multiplayer MMO crime RPG
Yeah.
thing.
I still
which they launched-
think they would have I think they would have done a good job.
Yeah, but no one played it. That was the problem.
The open beta flopped. So
Yeah,
they
the
died in
pre-orders
January
were so
2016.
low. No one joined the open beta in 2015. They shut the game down, refunded people their pre-orders, weren't taking any new sales, and then realised that they'd spent so much money on development, they couldn't recoup the costs, and the year later, the studio closed.
Are we saying Sleeping Dogs is a great game? Is it like a better Yakuza? I know that's going to hurt Evan.
Well, they're two different games. To be truthfully honest,
it's a very different style.
You should be comparing GTA and Sleeping Dogs if you're going to be comparing something. If we're doing that game, which
I know it's like GTA,
which I would say I would say it's way better than some of the old GTAs. Way better. Like, obviously, it's hard to beat Rockstar in regards to the quality, but in regards to like story, combat, like the things I guess the thing is, here's the thing. It's whatever GTA does not very good, Sleeping Dogs does amazing. And what GTA does amazing, Sleeping Dogs doesn't do as good. It's almost like they are polar opposites of each other. Because the combat's great, the story's great, the driving
was best.
Yeah, the
it's
driving's
been years
better.
since I played that. I've been years since I played it, but from memory, it was a very realistic take on Hong Kong as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember playing and like knowing Hong Kong really well, going, "Oh, this is awesome!" Very much.
Yeah, I learned some advanced Cantonese swearing from that game.
Nice. Yep.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Sleeping Dogs. Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is a great game, and I think the decision to do the online only Triad Wars was a big misstep, and it cost them literally
Everything.
Everything that because they ended up
cost you everything.
Aren't they just collaborating with people now? That's why they completely.
Yeah, so they got absorbed into other studios, so they were involved in some of the Disney Infinity. They never released their own another game, and I think they also worked a bit on the Master Chief Collection.
They worked on Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
Yep. There's what they have, like 4 titles, I think is what they have.
Master Chief Collection.
Well, Master Chief Collection. Wow. Okay, I just pulled the British. Master Chief Collection. Many studios worked on that collection. It was like more than just 343. I think it was like 4 studios worked on that collection. I will say though,
they are in fact closed.
Yeah, you already said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd missed that.
Yeah, the studio went bankrupt because of Triad Wars flopping.
I honestly, Keith, you know what? You know how you got to put me in the room? You put me at the room in Square Enix. You know what I'm going to tell them? Put a Sleeping Dogs 2 out, and you're going to sell like hotcakes. Like, really give them the time and give them the work on it. And, I mean, or, like, maybe call it Sleeping Dogs and, like, do it in Japan with the Yakuza. And then, like really give Yakuza a run for their money, because they're 2 different kind of games, but it would be interesting to see if those 2 could compete with each other.
Yeah, how many principal developers would use Hong Kong as a background setting now for a game?
Not today.
No, not today.
Not now. They wouldn't. Sadly.
And that's why I think it was interesting take on it, because we'd seen loads of games set in various different bits of America, and obviously the Yakuza franchise, fabulous series of games. Can't wait until January 1st where I can trash it. Or I may have changed my mind, and I may continue to think they're a fabulous series of games. Yeah, they got overly ambitious, and I don't know whether Rockstar were more than likely already working on let's turn GTA into an online something. But I think maybe if it were me and I saw this successful competitor make a huge misstep by going all online, they maybe let's have another think about this. maybe concentrate on how it's going to work a bit more, which is
I think also, but I think at the same time, it was probably like 7 years difference between the release of those two games. So the mentality of online is drastically changed between that time period, because we were still in the PlayStation 3 era when that Triad Wars was coming out. So like it wasn't, I mean, it really was not.
2015? 2015 I had my PlayStation 4, didn't I?
Well, it was cross generation.
Yeah.
So even so, like
work.
it's still like even online was still not as commonly used as it is with the casual gamer, like today.
Yeah. So if you
Well, GTA Online released in October 1st, 2013. So what my thought would be is no one jumped on because they were all playing GTA Online at that point.
Yeah.
Wait,
they were too late to the
yeah,
party,
that's right. It came out
early.
for the PS3.
You forget how long I played it on PS3.
Yeah, I forgot it came out PS3. Yeah, that's probably kind of.
I think it was more the fact, rather than launching the online service when they were Sleeping Dogs and they had that packaged together, they were too late. A GTA had come out and there wasn't the eyeballs going towards it.
Well, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do that
so,
anyways because of so Sleeping Dogs was originally a true crime game.
Yeah,
it was True Crime Hong Kong, and then THQ went under, and that was one of the assets that got sold off along with South Park: The Stick of Truth. So that one went to Square Enix, and so that's where they ended up kind of starting from scratch a little bit and then just renaming it. So I don't think it would have been an option for them, unfortunately, but who knows? Like if THQ had this property, they may have still been if the game was like it was when it came out and it was THQ as the publisher, I would not be shocked if THQ actually made a sequel instead of devoting to something online, or if they devoted to online that they actually put more backbone and commitment to it, because I think it was a success. I mean, heck, they release definitive editions of it all the time because it still is successful. So
yeah,
that's just something to keep in mind.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I still go back and play it occasionally on my PS4 because I have it.
The only people that should ever be able to make wrestling games, THQ.
Yes, THQ's wrestling games were phenomenal.
That's it. Yeah, we're the best forever.
Yeah, they were the best.
Nobody's ever been able to come close.
Nope.
All right, my thick griffin.
Okay.
What is yours? As soon as you're back from outer space.
Yeah, it's literally just watching my network connection go. Screw you, Corey.
Even though he claims he has great internet.
I do. Hold on. I have crappy internet. I live in Texas, so it gets hot, and my internet goes, "Not today, Satan." And it's 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's hot.
Well, that's what you get when you privatize your utilities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, we'll secede, and we don't have to be part of the U.S. anymore. It's fine. Good job,
actually,
Texas.
because you're in Texas, I never asked you. Did you actually run into? So if people didn't know, like the United States was like flooding because Texas was frozen over, and then pipes were bursting and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Did you run into any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, my power was cycling every 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, it would be on and then it would shut down and we'd have nothing for about 2-3 hours and then it would kick back on. It was rolling brownouts for days. Damn. So yeah, I have friends that had no water. I had friends that had no power for weeks on end. Yeah, we don't do well in the heat. We don't do well in the cold. So
you don't do well anywhere.
No, environmental anything against Texas and we lose. So it's awful.
You should be the ones really for climate change, if anything.
We're good, guys. We have our own grid that can't withstand anything at this point. So it's fantastic. Obviously, we've already done Activision. We've already done EA. It would come down to Blizzard and all their recent crap. And all the recent allegations of frat boy culture and sexual harassment. And making it so that nobody wants to play their games anymore. This could be like the downfall of Blizzard, honestly. Even so much that I, who have been playing Blizzard games for 16 years. 16 years! It's a lot of money and time. And I let it go. I uninstalled it. I was done. That's it. Oh, by the way, Keith, to answer your question, it's about 100 gigs is what I uninstalled.
Holy
So
crap.
less than Warzone. How many?
Yeah,
Less than about half a Warzone. I uninstalled half a Warzone is what I did.
But like,
that was
understandable. 12 minutes was only 2 gigs on my PC. So like, it's
right.
not. That's a lot for like.
Oh no, 12 minutes is two gigs on my console.
Oh really?
Yeah, so it wasn't it was that's how big it was.
I guess the
was
Master Chief
shocked.
Collection was 120 gigs.
Is it that big?
Master Chief,
Yeah,
no,
it
no,
is.
sorry, no, not Master. I'm sorry. Mass Effect Legendary Edition was like 100 and something
okay.
gigs.
Yeah.
If you
that makes
installed
sense.
them all
That's what I
together,
remember.
because it wouldn't let me
Well-
install them separately.
Well, I take it back.
Stupid.
The 100 gigs. The 100 gigs was multiple games. That was Hearthstone.
Yeah,
that was
it was-
Overwatch and World of Warcraft and Diablo. So
Yeah, I haven't. I kind of stopped. I jumped back on World of Warcraft like 2 years ago, probably now, when the classic came out.
Yep.
Because I wanted to get some of that nostalgia in me.
Yep.
And within 3 weeks, I jumped back onto my up to date World of Warcraft with like my level 90 character at the time playing. And then after 3 more days, I thought
Done.
to myself, I haven't spoken to my wife in 2 weeks.
yeah,
I need
you're
to
like,
get off of this horrendous cesspool of addiction.
Yes.
So I just
yes.
cut the cord and deleted everything.
Yep. So which is good. And then a lot of people are doing that now and jumping to other titles. So
Yeah.
which is even myself. So yeah, it's suicide for them. It's absolute suicide. I mean, and I'm in a game company and publisher that's built off of inclusion and loving everybody. Good job, guys. So
I mean, did
Yeah.
you see that a Q&A with that woman? Like, I would not think it would be.
fun facts. She was in my guild, my original guild and I remember when she
Wow.
went. Yeah. So myself and one of my friends in my Discord channel, we knew her. So when I saw that video, I was like, oh god.
Wait, did you follow up with her and ask what she thought when, like,
Oh
even
no,
thinking
I
back?
figured I did not, because everything that was happening at the time, I was like, I'm not just gonna go in there and poke the bear. I was like, I'm
I
just
would
gonna
be
let it
really
alone.
interested to see like what her thought was when they answered the question the first time, and then her thoughts now, like
Now.
after all that.
It wasn't good then, and it's not good now. That's for damn sure.
I mean, it wasn't good then; it's worse now.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. It's like, big.
Will he be back?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Is it that, or is it J. Allen Brack? Who he's got some spare time in his hands. He's just going after your internet connection, trying to DDoS you for.
Pretty sure that's what's happening. Blizzard right now is like, Corey, stop talking. You need to get them all back, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to bring them back. No.
It's them messaging the governor, and Governor Abbott's trying to mess with your stuff.
That's what it is. I'm sure him and Bobby Kotick are best friends at this point, so it's fine. They're like, shut it down, Corey, shut it down.
I'm sorry, Corey. We have to correct you. It's Bobby Kotick.
It's sure.
Keith always corrects me on that, so I have to. I have no choice.
Kotick.
The man who gets upset when people put horns on his pictures online.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Blizzard has become the most hated company outside of EA now. So.
Well,
Good
still,
job,
there's worse companies, but I'm thinking you'd have to really try. I mean, you'd have to go out of your way to cause ecological disasters or
That's
chemical
true.
dumps or something like that to be a worse company than Blizzard have managed to portray themselves as.
Were they as horrendous? Like I haven't actually before they linked with Activision, or is this kind of
Well, it's allegedly.
Allegedly, this has been going on before.
Years.
years in?
Yeah.
So Activision have been pulled in this organization into their organization, basically shit show.
Well,
They're not
apparently,
cleaning it up, idiots.
apparently, Activision has been trying to weed it out since they've been there,
Yeah, but
and so that's why
well done. You've been doing a great job.
Well done, you did a great
I know,
job.
I
Yeah.
know. But
It's horrible.
they've said they've slowly added management to their Blizzard teams to try to weed that kind of stuff out, and they thought they had it more under control. Which
We'll see
is,
what happens.
but the fact
Yeah.
is that's the kind of word you want to use, under control.
Right.
What a
Yeah, it's
shame.
unfortunate. And then you also have to consider all the old guard left. So
Yeah.
that's the other interesting thing. Like in the last
Yeah.
year, 2 years, we've seen half of the company, for the people that built it,
Disappear.
the foundation, disappear.
Mhm.
Start new companies, move on to new things.
I just want to think about imagining the Blizzard heads, not the ones that left, the Blizzard ones now that let this stuff happen, and
Yeah.
do a whole Game of Thrones, naked Cersei running around as there's the woman that's going shame.
Yeah, that's exactly what the. Hold on, I have that for that reason. Hold on, here we go. I got this. Hold on. I gotta turn the volume on. Hold on. Shame. Shame. My shame bell.
I'm shocked you asked that.
There's so much to unpack within that. There's one, how the hell do you allow a culture like that to fester in the first place?
And for this long,
this is the thing. So Bobby only got involved when the share price was taking a whack, and that's when he wrote his statement. Otherwise, I think if
he was sending
is it okay to let's all be arseholes, but we're making money. I don't get that. I really don't.
Well, that's business 2020, like 20. It's starting to transform a bit, and that's why I didn't say 2021 because of the pandemic, people feel empowered to really stick up for themselves in regards to saying that we as people, we are more than just a number in your pocketbook to be able to bring in revenue for you. We actually need to mean something instead of nothing. And I think also it's the same time as, and I'm going to play a stereotype, but back in the day, that's kind of what it was, which is a bunch of nerds getting together and not understanding of how to treat women right. And part of it is probably because they didn't have proper engagement with women. And so they didn't know the proper way to, treat people with decency, which is horrible and not excusing it in any way. Like, you should know the difference to know what is derogatory and what is harassment. It's very plain and simple, especially with harassment training people get nowadays. Like, the company I worked for 5 years ago, we had harassment training. And so the fact that they can't understand that in the current time is disgusting.
Well, we just went through this last year with Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what concerns me. Is how many more basic developers or publishers out there are these skeletons going to start coming out of the closet?
Well, and the other thing
last year we've got Blizzard this year.
Yeah, and technically the report for Blizzard was not only stuff that was happening currently, it was stuff that happened 5-10 years ago as well. So like it's tricky. Like, yeah, it's kind of like you said, Dan. It's like these companies might have skeletons starting to come back to haunt them back from the dead in regards to these type of things, which they should be. They should be held accountable and answer for what they did. Now the unfortunate thing is, who knows? Like, say the skeleton came out of the closet from like Square Enix or something like that, and all those people don't work there anymore, and the environment is a great environment. And then how do you handle that? Because it's like those people aren't there anymore to be able to really hold accountable. The only way you could do that was just follow them where they went next, and that next company needs to hold them accountable, but they didn't do it while they were working there. So it's a really fine line sometimes. It depends,
because you could still sue the company to say that they created an unsafe working environment.
Absolutely. True.
And there's no such thing as statute of limitations on civil lawsuits. So anyone could come up at any period of time. But before Ubisoft, there was the Riot Games fiasco, where it turned out they were underpaying all of their female employees. As an organisation, you have HR departments, you've got local and national legislation that you need to follow. How can you screw up so badly? I mean, you'd have to either, one, not care, or two, try.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
It's profits before people. It's plain and simple.
It's unfortunate.
I think it's a case of people watching the sales ledger and not watching what was and then ignoring what was happening actually in the building.
Yep.
It's horrendous. It's horrendous that they're doing this. But the other thing is, a lot of pay discrepancy occurs because, statistically, women are less likely to go for jobs if they don't hit everything in the job description than men are, and also women are less likely to go to their boss and ask for a pay rise.
Well, and then also,
and that's because of the culture that's inbred just societally Like my sister who works in HR said it's crazy. She said the amount of people that come, like male compared to female employees at her company, that will come and like try and like justify a pay rise, and she's like, well, you don't deserve one. But the boss is like, well, you're not going to give pay rise, like unless you go and ask for one, you're not going to get one, are you? So it's a tough one, really. It's trying to get away from that society. But if they're underpaying them anyway, that's horrendous as well. But it is, I say this to my female students. I'm like, you guys, you've got to be assertive. You've got to go in there, because actually, like, you're somewhere historically, you're kind of told not to be like that, which is bad. And all the people making money are just sitting there going, oh well, we don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
We're making money.
Well, it's also a policy of companies to say don't share what you're making.
Course.
And that's huge. Like, people should share what they make. They should not be afraid.
Yep.
Companies. The reason why companies fear you for people to say like what you're making is because then they think, oh, there's gonna be animosity towards people. Well, if they're not doing a good job, yeah, of course there will be. And you know what? Like, there's plenty of people at a place I used to work that I was like, they get paid that much for doing that little work, and I work my ass off every single week, and I get paid like way less than they do. Like, not even knowing how much they make, I knew they made more than me just because of their position. But it's just like, it's
salary transparency needs to be a serious thing.
Yeah,
well, it isn't. Where I work, everyone gets paid on a scale. It's
same in mine.
So if you are if you're at a certain level, this is the salary range that you will earn at that grade, and that's it.
I'm not sure about corporate structure. I don't know enough about it, Keith. You might know better than me. But I know in the UK you can ask for a freedom of information request. So you can request the salaries of your peers, and legally, and they have to disclose that.
Yeah, but anyway. there's ways around that, where you can choose the midpoint in people's salaries, so you can fudge it a little bit if they really don't want people to find out.
No.
The other way around it is including bonus structures. Base salaries may be really low, but then you think of bonuses and other incentives that people can be provided.
So then not actually,
yeah. But Blizzard, well done for screwing yourselves over. I mean, there must be some kind of dishonourable award. What's the equivalent of a Razzie?
How about just the shit award?
Yeah.
The shit show award.
The shit award.
Or the Mitch should have been in the room award.
Wait. Yeah, I do think there's colossal clusterfuck, isn't it, really, from them?
But the thing that really irks me as well is this perception of people getting golden handshakes. So J. Allen Brack chose to leave to pursue other projects. No, just fire him.
Yes,
he was in charge, perpetuating a culture of discrimination and harassment.
And they just let him walk away from it. Yeah, I agree with that. It's horrendous.
I think honestly, people, especially now in the modern time, transparency is so huge, and accountability is such a huge thing. Like, people respect you more, and I probably Corey will agree with this, that he probably would have maybe not been more. It would have less hurt to delete those Blizzard games if Blizzard actually just said, "Yeah, we fucked up. Here's what we're gonna do to fix it, and we're getting rid of all the people that caused this crap, because this isn't okay. We don't accept this."
Actions speak louder than words. 100%. I don't need a letter apologizing. I need somebody to show me that you're going to make the change.
Well, not only did they didn't do either.
And then you hire a union busting law firm to come in and tell everyone
how corrupt the government is, and that they're causing us stress, and they twisted our words, and might as well just been like Trump 2020 at the bottom of their thing. Like, that's how much the speech was.
Ugh. So that's mine.
Right. I need to go.
And I didn't really have one, because they're the three that I was thinking about, so that's fine.
The big three.
The big three.
Yeah, really. The big three.
The big three losers.
I was already in a bad mood today, and then talking about this just depressed me more. Why did I come up with a negative topic?
This was your fault. It's because you weren't prepared for this morning. You didn't know what was going to happen. So
It's just how it works. It's just how we do things.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, thank you for listening to the podcast. You know, you can find us on Twitter at pixel_pints or on Instagram at pixelpintspod. We're on every streaming service. Heck no, we are on YouTube and we are on Twitch where we do stream. That is a streaming service, I guess. And then you can find us on any of wherever you get your podcasts. Next week will be a show, but also I'm really want to do a hangout with a stream of a game. So that's why I wanted to play with Discord as the video platform choice, because then you guys could hop in and out during a stream if someone wanted to stream like myself or something like that. So we'll try that. We'll see how it works out. But keep your eyes peeled.
Not Madden.
Not Madden. No.
Maybe I'll stream 12 minutes. Now I have to complete the game because there's 3 sets, so I can play it through and talk through all the steps through people.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm gonna try and do it in like less phases now.
Do it in 12 minutes or GTFO.
Well, obviously I don't do it in 12 minutes, but less gameplay loops, definitely. Than try and do it in less gameplay loops. Now I know the steps you need to do.
Yeah, I know there's a bunch of games a lot of us would like to play, so even something like we could all play together would be fun too. So, on that note,
We're out.
yeah, you're listening to the music, but you know, I'll get you the music, Keith. I promise. I know that was such a nice feature for you.
I like to dance to the music. That's what I used to do. And my humankind download is at 10 gigs of 11.
Oh, wow.
So I am